Okay, so I'm going to go over the problems from your book that you need to know how to do. These can be found on page 140 in your textbook, okay? These will be done in addition to the multiple choice questions we went over today in class, which will be a part of the notes that I will post later, okay? So we're going to do 2 through 5, number 7 and 8, and then I'm going to do another problem on page 127 that will be similar to the word problem, one of the word problems that you will see on your quiz, okay? So, for number 2, okay, it says, what percent of 84 is 12? It says, find each number and round to the nearest tenth if necessary. This is from lessons 1 and 3. Okay, now there's 2 ways. The way I've been doing it in class, and then there's also one where you can set up a proportion. So what percent? So some number out of 100 is equal to, this would be the whole part, and this would be the part of the whole. So 84, so what percent of 84 is 12? So 12 is the part, 84 is the whole. Okay, so percent of 100, so this is your percent, written as a fraction, and this is the part over the whole. Okay, and then we can do the cross multiplication like we've been doing, and then I'll do it the other way just so you can see both ways. So when we cross multiply, we have some number times 84, percentage times 84 is equal to 12 times 100. Okay, so some number times 84 is equal to 12 times 100 be 1200. Then I divide by 84 so that I can get the letter P by itself. Remember, that turns into the 1, so we get P is equal to, all right, so it's going to be 1200 divided by 84. Now it says round to the nearest tenth, so we're going to get the 8 rounds the 2 up to the 3, so it's going to be a set of equals. It's going to be approximately 14.3% because the problem said what percent of 84 is 12. Okay? All right? Now, the way I was doing it in class today, I would have said, what percent of 84, meaning multiply, is 12? And you're still going to do the same thing. You're going to divide by 84, but you're going to get a decimal number, so we're going to get 12 divided by 84, which is 0. So we'd have to keep 3 decimal places. So the 8 makes the 2 round up, so we're going to get 0.143, which when we move our decimal 2 places over, we get 14.3%, or multiply this by 100 and you're going to get, so if you take 0.443 times 100, you're going to get 14.3%. So if you do it by the proportion, the answer you get is a percent, whereas if you do it by here, you have to change the decimal number to a percentage. So you can do it either way. I don't care which one, whichever one's more easier for you. All right, number 3 says 15 is 25% of what number? Okay, so for that particular problem, is 25 out of 100 for your percentage because it's 25%. Okay. Okay, so continuing. So 25 out of 100 is your 25%, that part right here. Okay, now, of what number is 15? 15 is the part. What number is what we don't know? It's the whole. Okay, so again, we cross multiply. So we get 25 over n, 25 times n is equal to 15 times 100. So we get 25 n is equal to 1500. So divide both sides by that 25. So we get n is equal to 1500 divided by 25 is 60. Okay? And that's the number. All right? Now, if you do it the way I was showing you in class, it would be 15 is 25% of some number. Change the 25% to a decimal number, so that's 0.25. Divide by the 0.25. So that turns into the 1. So n is equal to 15 divided by 0.25. You still get 60 as your answer. All right, so again, whichever of these two methods works best for you is the method I want you to use on the quiz. Okay? All right, now, for number 4 and 5, it says to estimate. All right, so I would keep the 20%, but I would round 392 to 400. So I'm going to do 20% of 400. So 20 over 100 is what of 400? So you can do it that way and cross multiply. You get 20 times 400 is equal to some number times 100. So 20 times 400 is 8,000. And then divide by 100. You're going to get n is approximately 80. Okay? Because we are rounding to the 400. Or you can do 0.20 times 400, and you're going to get 80 as your answer there as well. Okay? All right. Okay. All right. Number 5. Number 5 says 78% of 112. So I would round 78% to 80%. I would round 78% to 80%. I would round 112 to 100. So I would do 80% of 112, which if you do it just by changing it, it'd be 8.8 times 112, which is 89.6, which would be approximately 90 if you do it that way. All right. Or you could do 80 over 100 is equal to, oh, I'm sorry, I did this. I should have done this as 112. This 10. 1 is 100 is what I decided to do. All right. I just messed that whole problem up. Sorry. So you're going to get 0.8 times 100 is 80 instead of 90. Made a big difference, didn't it? I'm doing approximately. Or we do 80 over 100 is equal to, 80 out of 100 is equal to, well, that's not making sense. What number out of 100? So when we cross multiply, you're still going to get 8,000 is equal to n times some number, and then divide by 100. N times 100. So you're still going to get n equals 80 because of the fact that it's 80 out of 100 to start with. I think my book used 80% but did 1/10. So another option is to use 110. And if you use 110 and did 80% of that, it's going to be approximately 0.8 times 110 is 88, which is probably more accurate because we got 89 or 90 a while ago. So that's this would probably be more accurate than that. But as long as you're showing me what you're doing, you can do it whichever way you want to, okay? All right, then we're going to skip down to number 7, okay? And number 7 says, what number is 33% of 72? So we can do, or 35%. So 35 out of 100 is equal to what number is 35% of 72. So 72 is my whole part. Some number is the part of it. So cross multiply, you're going to get 35 times 72 is equal to some number times 100. So we have 35 times 72. We get 2520 is equal to some number times 100. Divide by that 100. And we're going to get n is equal to, divide by 100, 25.2. Okay. Or we could say, what number is 35% of 72? And then change 35% to 0.35. So when we do 0.35 times 72, we get 25.2 again. So either way, as long as you show me your work, okay? All right, and then for number 8, 16.1 is what percent of 70, okay? So 16.1 is what percent of 70? So 16.1 is my part, 70 is my whole. What percent? So what number out of 100? Cross multiply, we get 16.1 times 100 is equal to some number times 70. So 16.1 times 100 is 1,610, which is equal to some number times 70. So then I divide by 70. So my percent is 23. So 23%. Okay? Or you can say 16.1 is what percent of 70? Divide by 70. We're going to get P equals 16.1 divided by 70 is 0.23, which as a percentage is 23%. Meaning you have to multiply by 100 to get the 23%, or move the decimal 2 places over. Okay? All right, so there's only one more question, and that is on page 127. Okay. So on page 127, we're looking at problem number 24. Okay. So it says Eileen and Michelle scored 48% of their team's points. 48% of their team's points. And it says if their team had a total of 50 points, well, how many points did they score? Well, their team had 50 points, so we substitute 50 in for that. So we're going to get 48% of 50, which means it's 0.48, because I take 48 and divide by 100 to get that decimal, 0.48, times 50. So I multiply by 50, and I get 24. Okay? Or I can set it up and use that proportion. So I'm going to say 48 out of 100 is equal to what number out of 50? Because the total points for the game was 50. So then I cross multiply. I get 48 times 50 is equal to some number times 100. So then we do 48 times 50, and we get 2,400 or 2,400. Then we divide by the 100. So we're going to get n is equal to 24. And since it's points, we say points. So either way, you get the same answer. And that is what will be on your quiz on Tuesday.